Last time we were pretty heartbroken about Kana leaving the party, but now we have Avinia, which might be an improvement.
Pidgey Hunts.
Welcome back, riders and hunters, to another Monster Hunter Stories 2. The Ruins of Wuin is how I'm going, even though I know that's wrong. We're going to call it that. A journal series, specifically of Monster Hunter Stories 2, as I go through the whole story, and I'm actually going to try to get 100% achievements in this game. I'm having that much fun with this game. I want all the achievements, and right now we're at about 30% done. Last time you joined me, we had just left the forest. We were arriving in the Arctic, and now a lot has happened. I've finished the Arctic region. I finished the desert region. I've climbed a tower. I've flown around. I've seen so many things. I'm in a village of a bunch of kittens that needs a lot of pets. So let me share with you what happened in Kuan, aka the ice region, and our new waifu Avinia. Just FYI, I do talk spoilers, so if you are not this far into the game, which is specifically the part where you get to the feline village, maybe don't watch until you get through that yourself so you don't get spoiled from anything. So in Kuan, this region was pretty good, but I felt that there was a lot of, I think it's the basic formula of there's a lot of fetch quests, and Kuan specifically felt very not as rewarding because you're fetching to build a windmill to just have the windmill get destroyed in the end, and it's like, what was the point of this? Just that to create a plot point of Ratha going away so that we can then go to the desert. It's like, not quite as satisfying as the player who built that windmill. Good job, Ratha. So in Kuan, we met a lot of monsters, including monsters I knew, like Zinogre, Anjanath, Bara, Tobikadachi, and our friend Kezu, and I saw a new variant of Kezu. I didn't know they came in red. So now we got white Kezus, red Kezus. They're disgusting all the same. And I got to meet some new monsters, which apparently are quite known in the community, like a Kongalala or a Konga and a Quechuacha. Like, these names, where do they come from? So yeah, we met some new monkeys, and I met Gammoth, which I have to say I'm a fan of Gammoth. I'm not a fan of how he stomps me, but I'm liking Gammoth. Big elephant monster, sign me up. I like elephants. So I wish I could have beaten Gammoth so that I could have gotten him in my records, or maybe even a Monstie. I don't know if you can make him a Monstie. But I learned he's one of the Fated Four, which so far the Fated Four sound pretty cool. I mean, we got Gammoth in the party. I think we have Glavenus in there. And the Jet Engine monster, which I feel ashamed I don't know its name right now. Valstrax. So far, cool lineup. And I think the fourth is like Mizutsune or something, but that's a pretty low four. Like, you can't compare it against the other three. Big Elephant, Jet Engine monster is pretty cool. So yeah, we got a lot of monsters in here. The bosses were also very cool in this region. So I fought a lot more bug monsters, and as someone who came into Monster Hunter through World, I haven't seen a lot of bugs. So this is feeling very fresh to me. Like Nursilla, cool design. It's like a little spider thing. Very cool armor. I love the armor. And then we also fought a Saltus and a Saltus Queen, which was also a very fun fight. I like how they could go together to combo up, and then you could target specifically the Saltus on the Queen. And it was a very fun and satisfying fight. And I like the bugs. I like the armor, but I need to find more Saltus to build the armor. And then the fact that I could ride some of my favorite monsters. Now we have like an Anjanath in our party, which I absolutely love having an Anjanath. He's probably one of my most favorite ones. Came across a royal monster, which was a Zinogre. I've killed the Zinogre, but I have failed in acquiring an egg to have my very own Zinogre. So the quest continues for Zinogre, but its armor looks cool too. Like Zinogre, I think I'm going to be getting a lot more of that when I arrive in a region where there are Zinogre eggs, so that I can get some more of that. I've also discovered about the hard quests, so the optional bosses, which I didn't know this was a thing before. So we randomly walked into a thing called the Solemn Mountain, which messed me up hard. And then I went back to Hakala Island, I believe, and I was exploring things there, and I ran into the Torrid Tyrant Anjanath. So I thought it was just an Anjanath. And I'm like, oh no, it has a name. It has a name. What's it doing here? And I thought I was over leveled for that area, but he gave me a good fight. Still killed it, but gave me a good fight. So now these go into my monster entries. And now I'm like, oh, I love this idea. Like, the royal monsters are cool because they give you access to a monster before you're like officially supposed to have it. And it's also just a fun challenge. But the like optional bosses in the region, I love even more because they have a unique name and they fill in of spot in your encyclopedia, which as someone who's trying to get 100% achievements in this game goes towards that. So it just feels like it has a few more check marks to just kind of crave that satisfaction. So the boss, of course, of the ice area was a Liana, which actually makes a lot of sense. Triggered our Ratha to get its really cool wingspan of like purple wings made of dark energy. And like that whole chase scene was so cool. The cutscenes in this game are really getting good. But then our boy Ratha destroyed the windmill, which was very unfortunate. So from there, that kind of wrapped up our journey in the mountains. I didn't really talk about the Goron living in the top of the mountain in a hot spring because he was not as interesting as I would have thought. Like he was very good for our character progression. Oh, very important. So we learned the bond between a Monstie and a hunter, and specifically Ratha and you, the player, need to have a strong bond. That's how we keep Ratha in check. So a very important plot element there, where I have to believe in myself as the character. The character has to believe in himself, has to believe in the bond with Ratha is strong enough, which, you know, that is the power to defeat gods in RPGs. So we're well on our way to becoming a strong protagonist. So now off with Kuan into the city of Lelouchian, which is really cool city. Now we're in the city of the hunters. We meet some hunters. It's all like coming together. This is also the place where we find all the Diabloses, which is another soft spot of mine. And we also come across layered armor. So like this whole city is just giving me all the good vibes. The not good vibes though, I'm getting hermitors in here, which are not so cool. And I found a Plesioth. Now I don't have a history with Plesioth. I know a lot of the older Monster Hunter community does. Really curious to see what a Plesioth is going to do when I'm finally going to fight one. So this one was pretty cool. We got to hang out with our new companion Roberto, which I wasn't a big fan of at first, but I do like the big damage he does. And he's actually pretty smart, although he sounds a bit like a kind of a douchebag Chad sometimes. He's got some deep philosophy, and this guy knows what he's talking about. So my respect for Roberto increased while we traveled together. So the plot is actually pulling me in a lot more at this point. I feel like we're actually getting momentum in the plot. So our Ratha is going over, so Kyle has been watching us, and Kyle's like, he went and tattletale to the hunters, and now they kidnap Ratha. They brought it to the city to do research, but it turns out there's another like group of riders who kidnapped Ratha. I think they kidnapped from the hunters, or maybe it's the hunters and the riders who are together. And now there's a new cool villain introduced who's got like Nergigante armor, and he's got some very suspicious eyes. And they ran off to a tower, and they ran off in the coolest thing ever. They have these sand ships. I have not seen sand ships before, but I love the concept of sand ships. So yeah, we don't know what's going on with that, and like, why are there riders? Why are there hunters? Why are they working together? Why are there bad riders specifically? And oh man, the story is like, I don't know anything about it, but I'm still so invested in learning what's going to happen. What else was cool? Oh, I discovered a monoblos. So apparently a Diablos variant is a monoblos with one horn. I love this whole tower too, because there was just so many Diablos, and we actually got our own baby Diablo, so I could ride it. I have to get a monoblos, and we also found a black Diablos holding up at the top of this tower. So they should have honestly called this the Diablos Tower, and I think it would have been cool. And if you would have had like architecture of the Diablos, just think about it. It could have been a whole tribe that worshipped the Diablos in the desert, and they built this tower in like the honor of the Diablos, and it would have made sense because it would have protected them from Diabloses, because Diablos bury, so they could have never gone in the tower, which, by the way, having Diablos in a tower don't make sense because that's the common enemy here, and they keep burying. It would have just went through the tower. Sorry, I got excited because I really like Diabloses. After the pounding they get me, I feel like when a monster like destroys me, I get more respect for it. It's like, I respect you, you hurt me. So yeah, at this point too, so after the Black Diablos, we climb the tower. The villain are now on airships, which I love airships too. I hope we get an airship. But we got the next best thing. We got Ratha to fly with normal wings. So now like his energy wings turned into normal wings, and now we can fly on a Ratha. So we have the ability to fly in the game, which is cool, but the controls are not so cool. I don't like how there's no button to control the Z-axis up and down. I don't know why they thought moving the camera to see where you want to go would be a good idea, because then you can't like look at the ground if you need more height. So that's the only downside. The controls here are a little wonky. They could have done better. But the story's like really picking up. It's like, where are they taking this Ratha? Who are these people? What do they want? And I think the guy with the villain is a Wyverian because he's got like the hoof boots. So I'm like, maybe at one point I thought he was red because he like keeps looking at me weird. But then I saw the boots and he's a Wyverian. And there's another cutscene where you learn what happened to Red, how he fell into a pit. And the elder of the forest village was all like, oh, you know, people fall in pits sometimes. And I noticed his boots were the same as the villain boots. And I don't like the elder dude, like the elder assistant. So I'm like, maybe he's the villain. That is my theory at this point. And I had another theory. I forget what the theory. Oh, I think there's a Xenojova, whatever, in the bottom of the pit. Because we got something rumbling in the pit that's screaming. And I think it's a baby. And I think that's what's in the bottom of the pit. So anyways, after that, we got to fight frickin' Crimson Kurapeko, which was a terrible boss fight because I don't like losing to a duck, and I almost lost to a duck that was just quacking at me very loud. But we killed it. And now we are in the feline village, which I'm not sure of the name. We met Orga. We're in a beautiful location where there's like sakura trees everywhere. And I think this is the volcano region. So I feel I'm a little bit under leveled. I'm at level 28, but I'm not getting a lot of XP from my fights. I feel I should be above level 30 at this point. I've got like so many things to do, but I still want to progress the story, and we can always come back and do all the things afterwards. I'm not sure when we're going to do another stop in the story to do another journal, but I really hope we start getting some plot points revealed because this story's building and I need something to latch onto now because you're throwing a lot of things at me, game, that I just don't know what's going on. So please just reveal something so I can go like, whoa, and don't disappoint me. Just don't disappoint me. I really hope this game will not disappoint me in the story because Monster Hunter things don't tend to have good stories. So I'd be really surprised if this game can hook me, but it's making me believe right now. So anyways, that is an update on my Monster Hunter Stories 2 journey, and that's where we are today. So I'll see you on the next journal, and until next time, keep it classy.